The late afternoon sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue across Maple Street. The air was thick with the scent of freshly cut grass and blooming magnolias, a typical southern summer day. I had just returned home from a grueling day at the office, the kind that weighed heavily on the shoulders. The world outside my window was quiet, the kind of quiet that felt almost sacred, as if the street itself was holding its breath. I dropped my bag on the floor and headed to the kitchen to pour myself a glass of water, hoping to wash away the fatigue that clung to me like a second skin. As I stood by the sink, my eyes wandered out to the street, where the setting sun painted everything in soft shades of orange and pink. That's when I saw her. My neighbor, Amelia, was perched on her porch swing, her silhouette framed by the warm glow of her porch light. She wore a flowing sundress that danced lightly in the breeze, and her long dark hair cascaded over one shoulder. There was something effortlessly magnetic about her, a pull that had drawn me in since the day I moved to Maple Street. I had always considered myself a private person, a solitary creature who preferred the company of books to people. Yet there was something about Amelia that intrigued me, ignited a curiosity I couldn't quite place. She was different from anyone I had ever met, vibrant, open, and utterly unafraid to wear her heart on her sleeve. I had heard whispers of her past, tales of heartbreak and resilience that lingered in the neighborhood like an old ghost. Yet, she carried herself with a confidence that made her seem almost untouchable, as if she had emerged from the ashes of her former life stronger than ever. "Hey, Sam!" she called, her voice cutting through the tranquil evening. It was warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the coolness of the twilight air. "Come over. I'm not done talking to you." I hesitated, caught off guard by her directness. My heart raced, a mixture of trepidation and intrigue. There was something in her tone, a command that made refusal impossible. I felt as if I were being pulled by an invisible string. With a resigned sigh, I stepped off my porch and walked across the street, my hands shoved deep into my pockets. "Hey, Amelia," I said, trying to sound casual, though my stomach churned with anxiety. I had never been good at small talk, and the thought of sitting there, alone with her, unnerved me. She patted the seat beside her, the swing creaking gently under the weight of her invitation. "Sit," she said, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "I promise I won't bite." I sat down, the wood warm beneath me, and for a moment, we swung in silence, the rhythmic motion soothing the tension in my shoulders. The wine glass in her hand was half full, the ruby liquid catching the last rays of the sun and glimmering like a jewel. She took a sip, her lips curling into a smile as she savored the taste. "I thought you might need a break from all that hard work," she said, tilting her head slightly. "Life can't be all spreadsheets and deadlines, can it?" I chuckled nervously, the sound of my own laughter feeling foreign in this moment. "You know me too well." "Not well enough," she replied, her voice softening. "But I'd like to change that." She leaned closer, her eyes locking onto mine with a piercing intensity. "What's really going on with you, Sam?" I opened my mouth to deflect, to brush off her inquiry with a vague comment about work. But the sincerity in her gaze stopped me. There was a depth to her that made me want to share, to unearth the layers of my own guarded heart. I hesitated, uncertainty gnawing at the edges of my resolve. "It's just work has been overwhelming," I finally admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. "Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in it." She nodded, her expression shifting from playful to empathetic. "I get that. Sometimes it feels like we're all just treading water, doesn't it?" she offered, her eyes softening with understanding. "But you have to remember to breathe." Her words hung in the air, a gentle reminder that I had lost sight of the simple act of living. I thought of the late nights spent in front of my computer, the endless cycle of emails, meetings, and reports. It felt like I was trapped in a cage of my own making, and the weight of it all began to crumble my facade. "I don't know how to step away," I admitted, my voice thickening with emotion. It's like I'm afraid of what will happen if I do. Amelia took another sip of her wine, the movement graceful, almost ritualistic. Fear is a powerful thing, isn't it? It can paralyze us, make us feel as though we're stuck in a labyrinth with no exit. She paused, the swing slowing as she contemplated her next words. But sometimes we have to embrace the chaos. Let it lead us to unexpected places. Her gaze held mine, and for a moment, I felt vulnerable, exposed under the weight of her insight. I had spent so long building walls around my heart, convinced that they would protect me. But here she was, challenging me with her words, urging me to push past my fears. Have you ever felt trapped by your own choices? I asked, the question slipping out before I could think twice. Her smile faded, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of something deeper in her eyes, a shadow of old wounds. Yes, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. More times than I'd like to count. She took a breath, steadying herself as if about to reveal a secret. But I've learned that sometimes, the only way to find freedom is to confront those choices head-on. I felt the tension in the air shift, an unspoken understanding forming between us. I wanted to reach out to comfort her, but I remained rooted in my seat. Instead, I listened as she shared snippets of her life, moments that shaped her into the woman she was today. A failed marriage, a lost job, and the bittersweet ache of letting go. Each story was a thread woven into the tapestry of her existence, and I felt honored to witness it. I once thought I had it all figured out, Amelia confessed, her voice steady but laced with a hint of vulnerability. But life has a funny way of reminding us that we're all just trying to find our way, one day at a time. The swing creaked softly as we settled into a comfortable rhythm. I could feel the warmth radiating from her, a balm for my weary soul. She was unlike anyone I had ever known, a beacon of light in a world that often felt dark and heavy. "What about you, Sam?" she asked, her eyes searching mine. "What do you want?" I hesitated, the question reverberating in my mind like an echo. What did I want? The answer felt elusive, hidden beneath layers of self-doubt and fear. "I don't know," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. I think I just want to feel alive again." Her expression softened, and the corners of her mouth turned up in a knowing smile. "Then take a leap, Sam. Embrace the unknown. You might be surprised by what you find." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the world around us transformed. The sky deepened into shades of indigo, and the first stars began to twinkle like distant promises. A soft breeze rustled the leaves of the magnolia tree, carrying with it the scent of jasmine and warmth. Amelia reached out, her fingers brushing against mine, a simple gesture that sent a jolt of electricity through me. "Let's not let fear dictate our lives," she said, her voice low and steady. "Let's choose to live instead." In that moment, everything shifted. The weight of my worries seemed to lift, replaced by an exhilarating sense of possibility. I looked into her eyes and saw not just a neighbor, but a kindred spirit urging me to break free from the chains of my own making. The swing swayed gently, our breaths synchronizing with the rhythm of the night. I felt the warmth of her presence enveloping me, igniting a spark of hope that had long been dormant. "Okay," I said, my voice steadying as resolve filled my chest. "Let's embrace the chaos." Amelia smiled, a radiant light illuminating her features. "Good," she replied, her confidence washing over me like a wave. "Let's make a pact, then. No more hiding. No more letting fear win." I nodded, a sense of camaraderie binding us in that moment. The street was quiet, the world outside fading away as we found solace in each other's company. We spent the next hour talking, sharing dreams and fears, laughter echoing through the night. As I sat on that porch swing, I realized that I had ventured beyond mere small talk. I was opening myself up to a new chapter, guided by the warmth of Amelia's spirit. The night stretched on, a tapestry of possibility unfurling before us, and as I sat there, I knew that I had found something rare, a connection that transcended the ordinary. The stars twinkled above, and with each passing moment, I felt the weight of the world lift from my shoulders. I was no longer just Sam, the solitary figure trapped in a cycle of routine. I was part of something larger, a dance of life and connection that pulsed like a heartbeat in the stillness of the night. As the hours melted away, I discovered that the quiet of Maple Street was not just a backdrop. It was a canvas upon which we could paint our stories. And as I leaned into the warmth of Amelia's presence, I realized that in her company, I had found not only a neighbor but a friend, an ally in embracing the beautiful chaos of life. The swing creaked softly, a lullaby in the darkness, as the stars above bore witness to our newfound promise, one of courage, connection, and the unwavering pursuit of living fully, unapologetically. Together, we would face whatever came next, hand in hand, hearts open, and spirits unbound.